Hello?
Meet the fictitious TV reporter from Kazakhstan.
My name is Borat. I like you. I like sex.
The drab gray suit worn by fictitious Kazakh TV reporter Borat has never been cleaned to help sell the backwards character to his unsuspecting interview subjects. What does it smell like? Comedy. Who would make such a commitment? British comic Sacha Baron Cohen, that's who. He's hijacked the world media promoting his hilarious creation.
Borat! Borat!
Startling, what he actually gets away with. It's fantastic.
He's very rude and obnoxious. Really quickly then, MySpace, tell me about it in a very endearing way.
Behind the comedic mask of Borat is a true comic genius, Sacha Baron Cohen.
He is a very intense individual, a very rigorous intellect, and a very curious human.
Tonight we've got the story of Sacha Baron Cohen's journey from small-town England to Hollywood superstardom, and we follow Borat's antics from Kazakhstan all the way to the White House. Icons gives you a glimpse of the man who created Ali G and is now giving us Borat.
Very excited!
This is the man behind the curtain, Sacha Baron Cohen, Icon.
Ladies and gentlemen, direct from Kazakhstan and the Hall H Women's Restroom, please say hello to Borat.
Sacha Baron Cohen is in character as Borat Sigdiev to promote his brand new comedy, Borat Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan.
I like sex. And I hope one day you visit my country's place. Why not? It's nice. Kazakhstan is now as civilized as any other nation, especially since the great Tulyakev reforms of 2003, which allowed women to travel on inside of bus, meant that homosexuals were no longer forced to wear blue hats, and also raised the age of consent to 12 years old.
Film critics all agree. The positive buzz leading up to the Borat movie has reached a deafening level.
A lot of people have no idea who Sacha Baron Cohen is, probably haven't even heard of him, but they absolutely know now who Borat is.
So who is Sacha Baron Cohen? The comedian was born on October 13th, 1971 in Staines, England, the second of three sons born to Daniela and Gerald Baron Cohen. His mother is an Israeli immigrant of Persian ancestry, and his father is from Wales.
Sacha Baron Cohen's childhood was middle-class, North London childhood. He came from a nice Jewish family, went to a very nice school called Haberdashers.
Sacha Baron Cohen always had an interest in performing and made use of British public access television to get his comedy chops up.
I would say when Sacha Baron Cohen was getting into TV and comedy, it was a time when the alternative comedy scene was just blooming in Britain. Sacha was one of those people who was watching all the new, edgy, alternative comedians.
But first, Baron Cohen would graduate from Christ College in Cambridge. His thesis was on the Jewish participation in the American civil rights movement of the early 60s. After graduating, Sacha wasted no time, and a funny audition tape landed him a regular gig on British TV.
Well, the first time Sacha appeared on TV was in a show called The 11 O'Clock Show, which was kind of a little bit like our version of Saturday Night Live, except on a nightly basis. It was like a live, edgy, satirical, topical comedy show. To Ali G had a regular slot. You didn't quite know what race he was. You knew he was ethnic in some way, because he talked in a very kind of street language. It was a parody.
Big up yourself. Respect.
But you didn't know whether he was supposed to be black or Asian or Indian or whatever, and that was part of the whole joke.
I Ali G section was so popular because he caught this like phenomenon that was going on, which is these kids that would act like that and talk like that. It's very much real. It's not fake. People thought it was funny because it was very true to life.
The Ali G character is kind of an honest expression of how a large segment of the culture is semi-informed about these major issues. So he creates this Ali G who refers to weapons of mass destruction as BLTs.
Ali G was Sacha's first breakout character and proved so popular that he gave the royals stiff competition for airtime.
So in England, on Christmas Day, the Queen makes a speech. So Ali G decided that he was going to make a speech as well at the same time. I swear he must have got more ratings.
Rumored to be in Ali G's audience that Christmas in 1999 were two kids that shouldn't have been.
The princes were watching this wonderful spoof of their own grandmother's annual address, and she walks past, sees them laughing, and what's going on in here? So our princes had their laugh.
It was pretty hilarious, and I think he was saying free marijuana for everyone.
Ali G got his shot at British film stardom in Ali G in the House.
It was all about making fun of, his own character, Ali G, who was fairly stupid and thick, and at the same time making fun of these quite pompous people he would interview, you know, professors, teachers, politicians. Because they wouldn't understand he was a fictional person, they would end up coming out of it looking rather stupid.
It didn't take long for Ali G to make his way to America.
Well, the first time that Americans became aware of Sacha Baron Cohen was during Madonna's music video.
The American public may not have realized it then, but Madonna's video heralded the arrival of a vitally important cultural import.
There is a marginal portion of fans in the United States who are Anglophiles when it comes to their entertainment. Monty Python, Fawlty Towers, Benny Hill. It's always a sort of fringe group, but that fringe group is very vocal and very devoted.
Sacha parlayed that exposure and his British success into The Ali G Show.
HBO has long championed these sort of British comedians that are on the edge a bit, and they get sort of a cult following, but not really a major following.
His show premiered on HBO in 2003, and Sacha didn't mess with the formula. He stuck to blindsiding unsuspecting guests, this time Americans.
His interview with Pat Buchanan was just kind of brilliant, watching someone from the hip-hop world asking like these genuine questions, like this is what this person would ask Pat Buchanan.
How is you meant to commit a crime when, you know, you ain't seeing what those people is, you know?
It was very subversive without trying to be really subversive.
You get it?
I felt connected to Ali G. When I was going to school, we didn't have money. Everyone I grew up with was kind of like gangster thugs. He was the voice of my community, even though he was making fun of us.
The Ali G Show was a modest success when it premiered in 2003. But in 2006, it's an earnest, racist, sexist, homophobic, high-fiving, anti-Semitic TV reporter from Kazakhstan that has proven to be Sacha's breakout character. Coming up, Borat travels north of the border and practically causes a riot.
People were clamoring to get into that screening, and there just weren't enough seats.
All hell breaks loose when Borat lands in Toronto, and later, Borat has a special message for President Bush.
Which way is the White House?
On Icons. Sacha Baron Cohen's alter ego Borat previewed his film at the Toronto Film Festival. He arrived riding a wave of great buzz and a cart pulled by Kazakh peasant women. It was first class all the way.
There was a huge buzz in Toronto. After the film screened fully for the first time, the word was all over the place. Everyone had to see it. Word spread like wildfire. I went to one press screen. No one could get in, but there were 500 people that couldn't get in. Rarely do I laugh genuinely, like a belly laugher out loud, and uncontrollably as much as I did in this film. I was dying with laughter.
I must warn you that since it contains violences
a very rude language, and a close-up of a man's shriveled Bishkek.
The film is a weave of loosely scripted improv in the style of Curb Your Enthusiasm and candid interviews with unsuspecting Americans like The Daily Show.
I like Borat because he represents a mixed origin, a person that is very, very innocent in his approach, yet incredibly clever about getting people to trust him.
I am not so much known for jokes. Yes, it is frivolous.
It's so borderline R-rated NC-17, it's startling. You know, what he actually gets away with, it's fantastic.
It had been given most strict certificate by Kazakh censor, meaning that no one under the age of 3 can see it.
Borat is actually an improved version of an older character of Sacha's from the 11 o'clock show back in England.
The first one he did was actually an Albanian reporter called Christo. He was much the same sort of style.
There is an element of danger, I think, in what is happening right now with Borat's character, because it is sort of opening us up to these stereotypes.
Who is this man? Sit down, you are Uzbek.
Borat is most definitely making fun of A, himself, and B, whichever public scene he is in, to actually go to the extremes of making other people make themselves a mockery.
What do you think is the main difference between Kazakhstan and America?
You are dressed ridiculous. You look like a clown.
Without them even knowing it is just beyond genius.
America has fallen in love with the creation. But just who is the creator?
Sacha Baron Cohen has not been publicized as a celebrity so much.
As a Jew, he seems to feel entitled to do this anti-Semitic character. You can either go with that, which a lot of people do.
I love you, Borat. I want to marry you so much.
Or you can decide to be offended by it.
Sacha Baron Cohen himself is a very private individual.
Us weekly readers basically got to know Sacha Baron Cohen because his soon-to-be wife, Isla Fisher, was Vince Vaughn's girlfriend in Wedding Crashers.
I don't think he, right now, wants to call attention to the puppet master behind the scenes pulling the strings. Because I think he really wants people to just be thinking about him as this character. So if he does a lot of press and interviews talking about how he came up with the character,
Yeah, not so much.
he's kind of taking people away from the place he wants them to be, which is just thinking that Borat is a real person.
I think anybody who has that much commitment, it's largely because they have not only a amount of insecurity, but shyness and so on. He's probably more comfortable in these characters, a bit like anybody wearing a mask.
Hollywood has finally taken notice, and Sacha recently starred in Talladega Nights.
Here's a film where I don't have to be funny. You know, be a generous performer for once in my life.
And has several high-profile projects on the way. But right now, it's all about Borat. Coming up, Sacha sends Mr. Sagdiyev to Washington, where he faces off with the government of Kazakhstan, and Borat invites Premier Bush to his movie film.
It was another shocking moment, almost going too far.
These are disgusting fabrications.
When Icons returns. Controversy is nothing new to Borat, or the mastermind behind him, Sacha Baron Cohen. When the government of Kazakhstan discredited Borat in the press, he called a press conference in front of their embassy.
Yakshimash, my name is Borat Sagdiyev. There is a man named Roman Vasilenko who is claiming to be press secretary of Kazakhstan.
The country is unknown. That's why perhaps he chose Kazakhstan as his fictional home country. But really what he presents is not Kazakhstan, it's kind of Boratistan. It's a country of one.
Please do not listen to him. He is Uzbek imposter and is currently being hunted by our agents. I must further say on behalf of my government that if Uzbekistan do not desist from funding these attacks, then we will not rule out the possibility of military intervention.
People in their sane minds would probably know that any real country cannot be like what he describes in his show.
I would like to make a comment on the recent advertisements on television and in media about my nation of Kazakhstan, saying that women are treated equally and that all religions are tolerated. These are disgusting fabrications. These claims are part of a propaganda campaign against our country by evil nitwits Uzbekistan. Dziękuję.
No questions? No questions? No questions?
No question.
Sacha's decision to cast his characters as reporters affords him access to hard-to-reach people.
His producers would tell these people that a young, kind of ethnic guy wanted to interview them for a British TV show, and it was all done very straight. There was no indication at all this was going to be on a comedy show. So these politicians fell for the joke.
Ali G and Borat and Bruno, if you watch those sketches, they work on several different levels. The character that Sacha Baron Cohen is playing is a funny type, but he's also exposing the lunacy of so much of the way we communicate with each other. And that extends from his interviews with dignitaries and leaders.
Borat is remarkable not because of what he gets his subjects to swallow about Kazakhstan, but what he can get people to reveal about themselves.
You kind of sit there and wonder, okay, is Newt Gingrich or Pat Buchanan, are they in on the joke or are they not in on the joke?
Coming up, Borat turns up down under, in France, Amsterdam's red light district, and find out what happens when Borat rings the doorbell at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Can I come in, please?
When Icons continues. Camera-shy comic Sacha Baron Cohen is fearlessly playing publicity-loving Borat at the White House to promote his new film about America.
Do you have an appointment? I like to meet to give Premier Bush, Mighty Warlord Premier Bush, invitation to a screening of a film tomorrow night. And after movie, there will be cocktail party at Hooters. Yes, I cannot give this?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll leave it here, okay?
Premier George Walter Bush never made the screening. But many lucky fans around the world on MySpace.com were treated to preview screenings.
You must come see my MySpace page. Very nice ladies come talk with me. Very nice.
Borat's learnings about America play well with the crowd in Australia.
Very spontaneous as well, which is good.
Yeah, spontaneity is amazing. Yeah. He says everything you want to hear, but everyone else is too afraid to say.
Yeah. Before this movie, I've never even heard of Kazakhstan, and now I know what it is. I know like a lot about them now. I'm guessing it's somewhere in the Middle East.
It's not. Kazakhstan has tried to unmask Borat as British comic Sacha Baron Cohen, but Sacha has never taken the bait and broken character. He knows the kryptonite to any joke is the explanation that follows it.
It's a buzzkill to talk about someone's comedy when the joke is probably on you. Like, he's still a little smarter in this story than we are. He's ahead of us, and we're trying to catch up. He's fascinating, or at least his comedy is.
He is a perfectionist. He knows what he wants. Until he gets it, he'll keep working, but I totally understand that.
He is a very intense individual and a very rigorous intellect and a very curious human.
Sacha Baron Cohen's an icon because he's brilliantly come up with 3 enduring, great comedy characters, and he never ever lets himself get in the way of those. You know very little about him. He's never done interviews himself in the British media, as far as I'm aware. So all you know are these 3 incredibly convincing, incredibly funny comedy characters.
Baron Cohen has taken guerrilla marketing to new heights with his promotions for Borat.
He's generating this publicity for himself now. It's very effective. Certainly young people online, you're seeing him every 2-3 days doing something outrageous, going someplace new.
This year's Cannes Film Festival was the start of the Borat movie promotion.
Sacha Baron Cohen was following in a long line of scantily clothed Cannes sun worshippers dating back to Brigitte Bardot when he appeared in Cannes this year.
I think that the Borat character has got great legs. And I mean that in the professional sense of a film, rather than his revolting G-string outfit.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays for the red states, because they're not open necessarily to this kind of humor.
And this is a movie that there is a wave of laughter that goes on until the end, and that's rare.
While Borat takes his curtain call center stage, Sacha quietly plots his next movie from the wings. Up next, Sacha's character Bruno gets the mockumentary treatment. The follow-up to Borat, sold in a Hollywood bidding war that ended with a $43 million payday for Baron Cohen.
Thank you for coming. Please enjoy. I show you my films. Dziękuję. I love you. Bye.
To hear more music from the artists featured on Icons, go to g4tv.com/icons.